First question, everybody asks each other, how do you feel? You get your sleep? It's a 5-hour time difference from the home cities of both of these teams. It's a different kind of week of preparation with the travel over here.
And Jacksonville's kind of lived it. They've done it so many times. So it's a little bit of advantage for them of knowing how to handle it. For Atlanta, while they've got some veterans on their football team, Arthur Smith's squad hasn't been over here in a couple years, and it's trying to set out the best plan to get your guys to go as normal ready-wise as possible.
Yeah, I think both of these teams right now, when you're talking about being ready to go, they need to be ready to go immediately and start this game fast, something that has plagued both teams so far earlier in the season.
Mike Rolstad is the referee in charge of this crew today. With the former heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua, present as honorary captain. About 87,000 here.
Good afternoon, captains. Welcome to London. I have a London Games coin. The London side is heads. NFL shield is tails. Atlanta, you're the visiting team. What is your call? Tails. Call is tails. It is tails. Atlanta, you've won the toss. You'd like to defer your choice to the second half. You'd like to receive? Which way would you like to kick? Okay. Jacksonville will receive on this end. Best of luck, captains.
Falcons have been a problem, by the way, for the Jags. They've lost 4 straight. End of 21 was the last game. They haven't beaten the Falcons since 2007. Trevor Lawrence, that wreckage of a rookie season, he actually came to England and beat Denver. Played pretty well. Came here last year and lost, but represented. And Doug Peterson, Jaguars head coach, trying to kind of push the right buttons early in the season to get his guys going. There's big expectations for them.
He's been the best thing that's happened to Trevor Lawrence, certainly in his 3-year NFL career, and just settling him down after that rookie year. And now the expectations, to your point, Chris, hey, we got a chance to be an AFC Championship team. And for Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons, it's just, this is a team that wants to be physical every single game more than the opponent.
Now, for those of you watching on ESPN, we're going to show you the start here and get a taste, a few plays, then kick it back to Sunday NFL Countdown. And, of course, this game is available exclusively on ESPN+. So get locked in and get ready to make the switch over if you're watching on ESPN. Bradley Pinion, the punter for the Falcons, will boot it away. Jonas Johnson will let it sail over his head. So here comes Trevor Lawrence. 3 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions in the young season. He's been pressured a lot, getting rid of the ball a little quicker this year than we've seen in the past out of necessity.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. Their offensive line has not really played up to par. They made a change at the left guard position here tonight. And you're going to see this offense right now really try to make a concerted effort, Dan, to get started fast. They only have 20 first half points so far at this point in the season. They have got to correct that and get that started.
Falcons defense has been starting fast. Only allowed 3 points in first quarters this season. Etienne gets the first carry of the game and plows ahead for 4. Getting him going would certainly help the passing game.
It's the style of defense that Atlanta's going to play. And Travis Etienne is such an integral part to this football team. He is finally healthy and one of those backs that, Lewis, you could hand it to him, you could throw it to him. He's such a dynamic athlete. And Chris, to your point, the more he gets touches, the better.
He's got a lot of freedom at the line of scrimmage these days, doesn't he? Etienne again. Slams forward. He's got a yard fewer before contact this season than last. That's a big deal in the running game.
Absolutely. Look, you want to get your running backs to the second level as often as possible without them having to make somebody miss and or break a tackle. because then their athletic ability comes into play. When you're getting contacted so quickly, it's an issue.
Dan, they're 3rd and short right here. They've got the fewest yards to go on 3rd down in the league, yet they're one of the worst teams at converting. That's almost impossible.
It's a little bit pressing in those situations, too much for everybody, not just the quarterback. It's a huge focus for their offense today.
Empty backfield in 3rd and 2, and they swing it out immediately to ETN, and 3 touches and a first down for the running back.
This is smart. You talked about 3rd and short. They motion ETN from outside in. The linebacker matches. Then you kick it outside to him to where the space is. Lead blockers out front. That's a great start for this offense. Chris, you talked about it, how much they've struggled in those 3rd and short situations.
12th catch of the season for ETN. We had more than 50 receiving yards in last week's loss. He's got it again. Slipped as he made a cut. That's Tank Bigsby actually taking a turn. Short gain.
I think these 2 running backs, when you're talking about ETN and Tank Bigsby, who's really their short yardage and goal line specialist at 215 pounds, these guys have to be Trevor's best friend in a game like this where, you're trying to kind of find your way and find your rhythm. You're going to hear us talk about that all night. Rhythm and timing, how it's been missing with this offense. One of the ways they're hoping to get that going is getting the running game on track and then the play-action passing game working off of it.
ETN sent out far to the right. Ridley down to the bottom, and quick hitch across the middle there. He finds Evan Ingram, a versatile tight end. Richie Grant on the stop, and it's 3rd down and longer now.
I really like the start for Jacksonville right now. ETN touches, you get Ingram. We started this game talking about Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. When they're on, they are the next duo in the NFL. This is one of those moments on these 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s. Trevor's got to do a great job of seeing where Jesse Bates is, the field safety for Atlanta, and finding that matchup. That's Jesse Bates, have vision on him. Here's Calvin Ridley by himself. One-on-one, we throw it.
Pre-snap whistle.
Prior to any action, timeout, Jacksonville.
Wow, so
this is a 30-second timeout.
Doug Peterson spends a timeout in the opening series. I guess the fast start importance they kept talking about, 3rd and 5 here.
Absolutely. Look, you need to stay on the field so your offense can kind of get into a rhythm by running more plays, and he wants to make sure the communication is straight. Look, I think one of the things that you saw right there, they're going to try and get Calvin Ridley on track here, especially on 3rd down. And Atlanta's a top 10 defense on 3rd down. What you see, interestingly enough, A.J. Terrell matched up against Calvin Ridley, the Falcons' dynamic cornerback playing press coverage, which is something they said, look for us to do this a lot tonight. We are going to get up on Calvin Ridley. Most of his explosive plays throughout the duration of his career have come when he's had free access. They're not giving him free access today.
Speaking of Press Taylor calling the plays for the entire game for the first time. Doug Peterson called the first half. He called the second half. Zach's younger brother.
Couple comebacks that he's led.
They're already traveling A.J. Terrell with Calvin Ridley.
Lawrence has time, delivers far side, and it's off the hands there. Incomplete. Tried to find Ingram, and it's 4th down.
And here you had Jeff Okudah, the corner who's returning from injury and trying to work back into it, coming off of a foot injury. Again, you see him right there, trying to stay patient at the line of scrimmage. Evan Ingram's just like a big wide receiver, more so than a tight end. That's something that Atlanta specializes in. Tough press man coverage, making it difficult for quarterbacks to find an open window.
So Logan Cook to kick it away. Mike Hughes will let the ball bounce, and the Jaguars coverage team does a good job, and they down it. Touched initially inside the 5 and then down at about the 6-yard line. A 54-yard punt. And the first series for this struggling Atlanta offense, they'll be backed up when you come back to London. In the city again, folks locked into the game, wearing their jerseys. Those not lucky enough to get one of the 86,000 tickets here at Wembley. The Falcons are backed up, but this is an offense that has been slow to get going in games and overall not as dynamic as they'd hoped. They're short on receivers today, and figure to feature Bijan Robinson a lot all over the place.
Yeah, it's the explosive component of their offense, Chris, that really struggles. And it's hard then to rely on just a running back to provide that plus 20-yard explosive component. They need to get Drake London going. They got to get Kyle Pitts going, which means Desmond Ridder has to find him.
Robinson has the first take and makes one man miss, but Andre Sisco gets him to the ground right near the line of scrimmage. 8th start for Desmond Ridder, who took over last year, Week 15, Marcus Mariota. He does take care of the ball, only has the one career interception, but getting the big plays going, that's been the struggle.
Yeah, and I think the focus for him today is, one, control the game. Jacksonville is going to throw a lot of different looks at him, pre-snap, control it. The second thing, to you, Lewis's point, like, try not to be so perfect and just make sure you're giving those big body receivers chances on the outside.
Ridder on 2nd and 11. Tyler Algier, physical fifth-year man out of BYU, is now in the backfield. He's got the football. He tests the middle, and it's going to be 3rd and long. The Jags, 7th in rush defense. They're pretty tough to run the ball on, especially middle.
Yeah, they've got some stout defenders on that defensive line. Roy Robertson-Harris, number 95, really leading the way. He's a guy who has really pushed the pocket on 3rd down. He is stout against the run. Adam Gotsis has been playing well. You saw right there, Chad Moon was in here taking the place of the injured Devin Lloyd.
Lloyd with thumb surgery is going to miss both of these London games. And now 3rd and 9 for Ridder. And the Jags fans in here making some noise. From the pocket, gets it out quickly, and this is Robinson. Whoa! Will move, makes a man miss. Muma couldn't get him down, but he stopped short of the marker at the 16.
Hey,
I mean,
it's
that's
NFL.
Look, I'm sitting up here, you snicker to yourself like, oh, did you see, Chad, what happened to Muma? Look, it's happened to us all. At some point in time, and just look at this. You're just hoping that your buddies are coming to help you. Stay outside in, let the pursuit come and get him. But I tell you, look, he's going to do it to many people. He's going to put you on SportsCenter just like that.
What did Rayshon Jenkins tell us from day one at training camp? He was knocking guys to the ground.
Just making a miss.
Just like that. Pinion to kick it away. Parker Washington back for the Jags. Drifting way back, gets a good boot. Drives him back to the 23. Eludes one man, and he'll be tracked down from behind after a short return at the 27. 60 yards on the punt. So game 10 for the Jags. Dolphins half that many. They'll take on the Chiefs in Germany later on this season. A man down for the Jags return team. It's Parker Washington, the returner. Well, they attend to Washington, and we will step aside. Possession 2 for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville offense coming up. Slow starts both within games and within the season have been a theme for Jacksonville, something they feel they have to reverse. 2-6 start, ended up rallying, making a playoff. Terribly slow start in that game before the furious rally to win it.
Yeah, when we talked to tight end Evan Ingram, he was very much so aware of the fact that they sometimes look around at each other and wait for someone to make a play instead of going out and taking the initiative. And he said it was something that he was aware of. Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, they all knew that they needed a fast start, and that they were hoping that their number was going to get called.
Yeah, they're resilient. They can come back, but having the confidence at the beginning of games that they show late, that's the important thing. Get the ball out. This is Luke Farrell, the tight end, knocked down after a short gain. So no targets yet for Ridley or for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, and I think the fast start thing is Jacksonville with Doug Peterson this year still trying to figure out who they are. With Calvin Ridley, is he one of those guys that you're trying to feature in your first 15, meaning the first 15 plays of the game? How many different times are we they're trying to figure out kind of one of those, what can we hang our hat on situations.
We were saying that Evan Ingram was talking with Lawrence on the bench after that last series. They made one first down before punting, and Lawrence a lot of time will take off, and he's got a lot of space. And the long strider galloping all the way to Atlanta territory. Richie Grant finally forced him out, but that's a 21-yard scramble.
You want to see more of this out of Trevor Lawrence because he is athletic enough to do it. I love the fact that they're trying to play action pass left side of the screen and trying to find Calvin Ridley. He's going to slip. Now what do you do with the football if you're Trevor Lawrence? No panic, sees that it's man coverage, everyone's backs are turned, he turns it into a runner.
You can just see, right there, A.J. Terrell is going to be physical with him for the duration of the route. He's going to push the envelope. They feel as though that is something that Calvin does not handle very well.
Yeah, he's an elite, long, physical corner in that press man coverage. On the bootleg, Lawrence has got space again, and he'll just scoot out of bounds. That's a solid first down game.
I think, look, you wanted an answer as to who was going to be the guy to kind of take it upon himself to kind of spark this football team. Well, right now, Trevor Lawrence is saying this. Look, if you're going to play man coverage, which the Falcons love to do, they like to get up on the line and play press man, like to play two-man with the safeties deep, then I'm going to take off and run when you turn your back to me. I have to spark this football team. I like seeing him that aggressive this early.
It's been one of the things ever since he came out of Clemson that I've clamored for. He is such a tremendous athlete. I want to see him rely on that a little bit more.
Ridley off the field now on 2nd and 4. Etienne. It's a little cut. And he's knocked down at the 38. It'll be 3rd and about a yard here.
Well, I think, one, if you're Jacksonville, this is 4-down territory for your offense. So how does that change Press Taylor's play call? Is this a moment when you want to take one of those shots? Or do we bring some bigger bodies on the field and maybe use Trevor Lawrence in one of those potential quarterback runs? I would run the football with Trevor Lawrence against Atlanta's front.
On a design quarterback run?
Yep.
Interesting.
There's a 35-year-old OC. And good call, but the design run immediately pressured by the veteran Calais Campbell off the edge, gets the throw away, but now it is that 4th down.
Well, it looks like they had what they wanted, but Calais Campbell, hey, look, he's saying, look, there's a little bit of juice left in these old legs. Just clips Trevor Lawrence's heels because he had Christian Kirk spotting up for the first down. Looks like he had a little bit of a run-pass option out there on the edge.
Campbell's saying that the quarterback's knee was down. It was very close, but they rule it incomplete. And here we go. A team that has struggled on 4th down as well. 1 for 6 so far. Going to throw for it. Across the middle. It's complete. And a first down to Christian Kirk as he is targeted for the first time, and they move the sticks inside the Atlanta 30. 10-yard gain.
I mean, this is someone who Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator, said you're going to see him right here. Just come and spot up over the middle and just kind of uncover versus the zone coverage that the Falcons deploy. Look, Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator again for the Jaguars, said Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, they have to be our guys. They're our most dependable players. We know how to feature them. We know how to get them open. We know how to really shine a light on their physical ability. They just need to produce.
Ingram was on one knee at the end of the play. We'll check on his status and return after this. Important because they're already down 2 receivers. Zay Jones has a knee. They expect he could return next week, but one of the big playmakers, and Jamal Agnew with a quad, also a scratch today, so very thin at receiver. First down from the 28. Handoff on the edge there. And knocked down is Dearness Jackson. Laura?
Parker Washington, Chris, is questionable to return with a knee injury, and this is important, as you mentioned, Jamal Agnew out with that quad injury. Christian Kirk is their emergency returners. This affects both punt and kick return.
Yeah, you can see him hurt to that early return. That's the last thing they need.
It's also a little bit relying on the tight ends now. Zay Jones not playing, Agnew not in. If Parker Washington can't go, maybe some of the tight ends, both Luke Farrell and Brenton Strange on the field more.
Farrell did have one catch short game earlier. Lawrence sidesteps the pressure there. That was Richie Grant whiffing and throws to Tenzo. Touchdown. Calvin Ridley is involved against his former team. A 30-yard strike on his first touch today. Wow.
Like there's a blown coverage between the corner and the safety. You're going to get free pressure of Trevor Lawrence's right. Terrell's just kind of hang. He's got vision on it, and then Calvin puts the hand up.
He's expecting a safety to go over the top. Either he's expecting it to be a kind of too high type of look off of that pressure,
right,
or he just got caught. He just got, because there's just no way he would squat on that like that.
They said it's nothing personal, but he's not the guy who want to beat us. But it's Ridley over the top. Lawrence, an athletic play to get free and deliver the football, and a bust by the Falcons. Jacksonville on top, 7-zip. Call Haynes. They said, wait a second. We're allowed to get a touchdown in the first quarter and a big play. What a different start from a week ago when Ridley had a drop of a touchdown pass. They missed the field goal against the Texans, and that kind of put them in a funk. Exactly what they were hoping for here today in London. McManus to boot it away. And Cordero Patterson watches it sail into the end zone. So another look at how they blew this coverage.
Yeah, so number 1, Calvin Ridley is going to run a go, and then this is number 2. He's got a seam. Now, abs Trevor Lawrence catches the ball and just peeks. Terrell squats thinking he's reading that seam route, and then Calvin Ridley puts the hand up. That's a blown coverage or communication by Terrell and Jesse Bates.
Yeah, it looked like it was a cover 4 type of principle in the back end. And if 2 is vertical in the seam, then you have to carry number 1 as the corner. And you can see Jesse Bates talking to A.J. Terrell about that after the play was over.
Haven't been that many smiles in the Jacksonville bench in the first quarter lately. Ritter took a look, takes off, and to be dragged down to the line of scrimmage there by Trayvon Walker, former number 1 overall pick, who they're looking to get more pass rush production from.
Yeah, they really want him to kind of really come out of his shell a little bit and really take charge. If he wants to move up and down the line of scrimmage, if he finds a guy that he feels as though physically he can dominate, they want him to call it out, and they want him to take charge and kind of just cut it loose. And he'll have some opportunities against these tackles of the Falcons here today.
Here in the backfield, Bijan Robinson in the slot. They get it to him on the edge with a couple of blockers, but the Jags swarm and close it down quickly. They're ready for number 7 on the perimeter.
Yeah, look, anytime Bijan Robinson's in the game, it's like, hey, look, we understand that there's 10 other people out here, but we better make sure we take care of number 7 because he just does it all. 34% of the total scrimmage yards.
Yeah.
I mean, you know where the ball's going, especially in a situation like this. You have to take care of him first, take care of Drake London, number 5, second.
Third down has been a struggle for the offense. They need 7 to get this drive going, try to answer the Jags score. And flag and jumping off there. Looked like K'Lavon Chaisson. Former first rounder.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 45. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's a good pass rush for LSU. They're waiting for him to sort of arrive as a first-round type productivity player.
And you see right there, trying to get the jump on that right side. Caleb McGarry, the starting right tackle of the Falcons, have had some issues with his pass protection. Something to keep an eye on.
That makes it a 3rd and 1. Ritter from the pocket. Cannot escape. They try to throw for it on 3rd and 1. And Josh Allen, the top sack man on this team, comes up with his 4th of the season. He's got 4 of the team's 6 sacks this year.
Look, this is just a nice job of collapsing the pocket inside out. Just watch it right here. Look at what happens to center Drew Dahlman as he just gets pushed back in the pocket. And Desmond Ridder doesn't have anywhere to step up.
He's got Bijan Robinson. He widens, breaks out. It's 3rd and 2. That ball has to be out of Desmond Ridder's hands on Bijan Robinson's face mask. It's an easy conversion. 7
sacks a week ago against Detroit. 14th of the season against Ridder. And that's an excellent punt by Pinion, which bounces out of bounds. Back in 30 seconds after a word from Jameson.
Pro football has gone international, and the world's most fun and lively city should be next. Dublin, Ireland. Do you think I sound excited about a game in Dublin? Wait till you hear from the locals.
The games are over 3 hours long.
Is there something wrong in America?
Okay. The sheer excitement on the Dubliners' faces. Let's toast this monumental idea from me, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jameson. 2 Irish legends with absolutely zero sway to make this happen. Sláinte. That went well, right?
We also have no sway, but I like the idea of playing NFL in Ireland.
Well, I'd go. I played in Ireland too. Not only did I play in Wembley, I played in Dublin, Ireland when I was in college.
What parts of Europe did we not play in?
You know what? I played in Ireland. I played in Wembley. I played in Berlin. I played in them all, man. I've been over. I've traveled around a little bit.
I'll hear a story or two from you. ETN. No touches in that last series. They fake it to him. Lawrence now flips it to him. And Travis just could not get going. That's a nice shoestring tackle there by D. Alford, the nickelback.
And you know, D. Alford is someone who the secondary coaches Steve Jackson and Jerry Gray told me down the field, he's playing as well as anyone right now. This guy is only about 175, 180 pounds, but he brings it as far as the tackler is concerned. Really good matchup corner in the slot. Travis Etienne would have been out the gate had he not made it right there.
There's a chance that is a touchdown with those blockers out in front. That is a huge play by Alford.
He had his eyes downfield, didn't he, Etienne? Didn't even look down.
Oh, yeah. He's great in the open field.
2nd and 2. Travis has it again. Explodes through a hole. It's a first down out across the 30. Picked up 7.
Yeah, I think if you're Doug Peterson and Press Taylor, you have to be happy with how your offensive line is responding to a physical defensive front of the Atlanta Falcons.
You know what the interesting thing so far in this first quarter, run game-wise, Lou, is they are running to what we call the open side, away from the tight ends. They've got something in their plan that they think they could run towards the weak set of their formation.
Play fake. Lawrence looking downfield and finds wide open. Christian Kirk makes a man miss. This pass game is clicking. This is what Jags fans have waited for. We're inside the 40. 29-yard pickup.
This is what you would call a post corner. Watch, he's going to sell it like he's going across the field in the post and then bring it out on the corner. And you see he's got one-on-one on the safety, Richie Grant. And Trevor just lays it on him. Christian Kirk is one of the guys they said they wanted to get the ball to, wanted to get him going. He's been one of the most productive receivers from the slot since he's been in Jacksonville.
They've gotten Kirk and Ridley going so far. Enough inside to Bigsby. He's not called Tank for no reason. Runs over a man, gets to the 31.
There's one of those weak side runs again. Arthur Smith told us last week against Detroit, their football team got out-physicaled. Right now in this first quarter, you see left side of their offensive line, Bigsby's physicality. Jacksonville has come out with the mindset, we are going to be the more physical football team.
Fast starts, right? You see Nate Landman, number 53. This guy's a hammer now. You turn on Falcon tape, you'll see 53. He has an absolute hammer as far as the way he hits. Tank Bigsby said, hey,
Rookie from Auburn. He's got it again. You see the power, there's a little wiggle. There is a flag down, a couple of them on the run. Richie Grant on the stop.
And I think they're going to get Brenton Strange for holding on the edge.
Rookie tight end from Penn State. Kind of mental mistakes that have really undone Jacksonville in this young season. That would negate a solid gain down inside the 25.
You see the Falcons defenders down there pointing at him like, you know you held. You know it was you. You know you're about to get your number called.
3 flags down, so they got someone.
It was Calais Campbell was telling him.
Calais will officiate the game for you. If they need a little help, he's there. He's seen everything in his 16 years.
He's one of the great dudes, man. He's got that raspy voice. He just kind of exudes wisdom and experience. He's been great for their locker room, great for their defensive line room in particular.
If he's inspired, he can get his pitch count kind of north of 30 snaps, but they hope to keep him fresh for the long haul if they can.
And he's one of those veteran guys you trust as well. Hey, you know, as you get into the game, how are you feeling? How many snaps do you think you can give us?
You can see him in the huddle there being a leader.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 85. That penalty is declined. Holding. Offense, number 85, that penalty is accepted, 10 yards, replay 2nd down.
Not a great snap for Brenton Strange, and that 15-yard penalty will back him up after the hold.
And that will also get you taken off the field. As you see Doug Peterson right there telling him, hey, look, man, we don't need any of that stuff. We're moving the football. We're getting a fast start. Those are kind of momentum killers and drive killers. That's the kind of stuff that will get you standing right beside me like he is.
You don't want to be standing right behind coach.
No, that's not where you want to be. Next thing you know, you'll be in the stands.
Final 30 seconds of the first quarter. 2nd and 12 after all that. Across the middle. Short catch made by Evan Ingram. It's going to set up a 3rd and long now. And should be the final play of this first quarter. Total yards, 124 to 5 in favor of the Jaguars, who strike quickly with the touchdown catch by Calvin Ridley. Back to London, the adopted English home team on the move and in front by a touchdown. You're seeing folks in NFL jerseys kind of representing their fandom of American football, and it's a cool thing about these games. Look at this one picture. How many different teams we have represented here? Niners, Seahawks. There's a bunch of Falcons fans who are from Germany who traveled here.
Oh, we got the Jets in there, the Dolphins.
Second quarter begins with this 3rd and 9 play for Lawrence. Pressure comes and delivers downfield, and it's incomplete. Wow, that was Jesse Bates flying in on a safety blitz and hammering Trevor.
This is a Ryan Nielsen special. This is what they like to do on 3rd down. They want to heat up the quarterback, and you're going to see Jesse Bates come right down the pipe here, and they're just going to play man coverage across the board. When these corners are coming down the middle, then your quarterback, no quarterback likes pressure in the A and B gaps, especially 3 runners like that.
Brandon McManus, one of the great long-distance kickers in the history of this league, from 56. No more thin air to work with, doesn't matter. Drives it right through. Guy who was cut by Denver for being a little bit too expensive in the spring. 224 career field goals, now 10-0.
It's a great job. That 3rd down that Lewis kind of pointed out, when that free safety comes unblocked, it would be so easy to take that sack. McManus then has no shot to kick that field goal. So while you sit there and go, gosh, you want to get that picked up if you're an offense, Trevor, get the ball out. The fact that he does not take that sack, Lou, and gets it out of his hands is huge, because it really was a change pressure. You talk about Bates coming. Watch Ebiketie as the dropper. He really takes away one of the options for Trevor Lawrence. We call that a change blitz. Trevor not holding on to that ball and taking that sack equals 3 points for their offense.
So Lawrence up 10-0 in this Atlanta offense. It's run 6 plays so far and gained 5 yards. They got 1 rushing yard. Ritter is 2 for 2, but only for 12 yards. Still searching for the spark. Manis is going to do that all day whenever he gets a chance. Boots it beyond the end line. Well, the last 3 Atlanta Falcons first-round picks have been spent on offense at the skill position. We talked about Bijan, Drake London, 8th overall, Kyle Pitts, who's still not physically 100%, 4th overall. He's a big weapon when he's healthy, but can they get him involved today?
I think that specifically Drake London and Kyle Pitts, we're talking about 6'4" and 6'5" respectively. For Desmond Ritter, it's more about not trying to make the perfect throw and throw it in the perfect area and allow those frames and those bodies to just kind of box guys out.
Keith Smith, the fullback, motions in. That's Pruitt, the tight end, in motions. And it's Bijan on a 1st down toss, who fights forward for about 4. Andre Sisco on the tackle.
And I do think that's a big challenge for Desmond Ritter. He's still a young player, and he's spent 10, 12, 15 years of his life playing quarterback, and the thought is, I got to make the perfect throw every time, right? Throw it to a perfect spot. And now with these guys, they're so often not separating a ton, but if you just throw it to that area where those guys can use their bodies, you got to kind of train yourself as a quarterback again on how you want to throw to those guys.
Ritter has time and delivers a dart into traffic. You're trying to get the ball in there to Drake London, and Darius Williams broke it up. Nice play by the corner.
You really see it. It's Luakon who causes Ritter to pull that down and not deliver it on time, and really gives Darius Williams a chance to really get close on the coverage and create the PBU. But look, this offense, it just does not push the ball down the field. 6.6 average air yards on his throws. It's just not something that really threatens defenses from an explosive component.
It should go down the field here to Drake London. Give him a chance with an opportunity throw.
Jags rush 4 and 3rd and 6. Ritter does have time and checks it down to Jonnu Smith, the tight end, and it's a 1st down, the first of the afternoon.
This is good eyes by Desmond Ridder. You're going to get Kyle Pitts running vertically right here. And the read comes off of that linebacker. If he hangs inside, then we are going to work outside to Jonnu Smith. Flat goes with the back. Keep that backer inside and ball come out on time. Very good job of reading 1 to 2 for Desmond Ridder.
He'll be in the slot a lot. He was productive with Tennessee when Arthur Smith was there calling the shots. Bijan off the right side.
There you saw a little bit of the physicality that Arthur Smith is looking for. Chris Lindstrom with a heck of a block, putting a defender on his rear end. That's the kind of thing that they need this offensive line, and they need this running game to produce, because they just don't produce the explosives on the perimeter. The running game and the physicality of this offensive line sets the tone for everything that they do offensively. It isn't pretty, and it doesn't produce a lot of points, but man, when it gets going, it can really take the air out of a defense.
2nd and 9. They'd love to get more than one on a first down play. Algier in the backfield. Ridder will launch downfield, looking for London. And it's not going to be a London calling catch there at the 12-yard line. Tyson Campbell running right with him. You feel like he should be able to make a big play today?
I was just going to say, that's exactly what we've been asking for Desmond Ridder. I mean, you want to see Drake London go get 2 hands on that football. And now it's a great job by Campbell getting his hands. But I want to see him go up and go kind of pluck that out of the air. Yep. I can't blame Desmond Ridder for that one.
Well, Tyson Campbell, that's as good as you can do as a defensive back. You have perfect position, lean into the wide receiver, make it hard for him to climb up over top of you.
They need 9 in this 3rd down. Jags are showing pressure. A lot of it. And they bring an extra rusher. Ridder on the move, and he'll be swarmed. Hard to know where the blitz is coming from. Josh Allen got home, his 2nd sack of the game, a loss of 14.
You'd love to see, as the motion comes and this guy walks to the line of scrimmage and that safety comes down, that now that's capped off, we're unblocked. That ball's got to get out of Desmond Ridder's hands. Right now it may not equal a first down, but knowing your protection issues and that safety free rushing, got to kick that ball to the flat if you're the quarterback.
Pass protection continues to be a nightmare. They get 1 first down of the possession and then booted away. Treating at the 8-yard line is Agnew, who Christian Kirk, who steps back in there. Laura reporting that Washington may not return, so Kirk takes over as the emergency punt returner. Gets 12 yards back after a 61-yard boot. Jags back to work, up 10.
Any chance here?
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want to sit?
Yeah, front row if you can.
Okay. 6 chances to see here. I think it's unprecedented. I don't think anybody's plays that many times in one summer. So the Jags back to work, up double digits, an uncomfortable, unfamiliar position, I should say. They find Ingram, who loses the ball. Jesse Bates was right there. He is a ball hawk and kind of a takeaway machine.
And Chris, you mentioned it. Jesse Bates, a ball hawking machine. This is something that this defense is going to have to produce. And you see right there the intentional punch of the pocket right on the football by Jesse Bates. This is one of the best safeties in the NFL, folks, as far as his mental approach to the game and the way he is always a step ahead of quarterbacks. That's why he makes the number of plays that he does.
3 picks already this season. Had a couple picks against Bryce Young in the opener. He showed us some veteran moves that the rookie wasn't ready for that day, and he's done that to a lot of quarterbacks in his career. There's going to be a challenge flag thrown.
Do they think he caught it?
Atlanta is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
So Smith will use an early flag. It's a 5-yard gain, which they would negate if it is incomplete. We'll take a break as they review it. Another quick look here. By Jacksonville stands. John Perry, our rules expert, joins us from Charlotte.
Yeah, he completes all 3 requirements. Control 2 feet, turns up field, clearly a catch, and a fumble recovered by Jacksonville.
Unsuccessful challenge cost the Falcons a timeout. Ball quickly on the edge. And Christian Kirk turns up, stopped just short of the mark. It'll be 3rd and short.
You know, one thing you've said a lot so far today with Jacksonville's offense, Chris, ball quickly. You know, it's kind of become one of their trademarks is how quickly Trevor Lawrence does get the ball out of his hands, and it allows for a ton of efficiency on offense and sets themselves up for these 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situations when you get these guys running across the field and mesh concepts or zone concepts. It's smart.
See, only Tua has gotten the ball out faster than Trevor so far this year. Empty backfield on 3rd and 2, and Lawrence will take off and not get there. Bud Dupree stopped him, and it's 4th down.
It's a nice job of rotating the secondary. Post-snap, Jesse Bates orchestrating things in the back end. They matched the patterns pretty quickly. You saw Trevor have to pull the ball down. And you see the D-line again. You see how they're punching at the football. They understand we got to provide some short fields for our offense. And that's something the Jacksonville offense is going to have to be aware of.
Mike Hughes back to receive the punt, waves a fair catch. You see Trevor took off on that 22-yard run when he had a lot of space, got the long legs going. I don't think on an NFL field he looks that quick, that sudden. In Clemson, he was able to make those kinds of plays even against the top-tier college teams. I don't see that on Sundays much.
Yeah, he's not as laterally dominant, I guess, and quick, sudden dominant that he was in college, but he's still capable of being big and athletic down the field. I think one of those things is you have the start of this game when he takes off and runs, and it's great. And then you think I can get 2 or 3 yards, and you don't. So it's that learning, kind of getting through a progression more than taking off and running.
Stop for the Falcons was big because their offense has just got nothing going so far. They can't get anything more than a yard on 1st down. They give it off to Algier, and that's been their best 1st down play so far.
Yeah, they have got to get the play-action passing game going off of that. And that is something that is a hallmark, a staple of Arthur Smith's offense. And if you don't threaten the deep part of the field, if you don't continue to try and make them defend every blade of grass, it's going to get even tougher.
And that's the only way they hurt defenses. I mean, this is an incredibly creative and effective running game. But unless you start hitting some chunks in your play-action game and loosen the defense up, it's so hard to go down the field 90-plus yards in this capacity.
Bijan Robinson 4 yards so far on his 2 carries. Caught a couple of balls. Algier in the game now, and he's got the football. And he's just pushed backwards. He just had nowhere to go from the start. They moved the line of scrimmage. Foye Oluwakin got there quickly.
You know how you blow up the outside zone? You got to get vertical penetration and make the running back stop in his tracks to where he just can't stay on track. And that is what is happening right now. You're seeing these linebackers attack downhill, and now they're in a 3rd down situation, which is exactly where Atlanta doesn't want to live in 3rd and plus like this.
I think Desmond Ritter's got to be great with his eyes, getting zone coverage, moving a defender to open a window to an inside receiver.
Where is Kyle Pitts? He has to be a factor on this down.
I saw him turn around. He's in the slot to the right. Runs a short route. Ritter doesn't go that way. What a one-handed catch by Bijan Robinson. That is just sheer talent and individual effort to get a precious 1st down.
You saw Desmond looking at him. Chad Muma took him away. He took away Kyle Pitts, but man.
I mean, we saw the move out in open space. He don't even ever touch it with this run. I don't even know he pins it to his body. Not only the catch, but then he makes the guy miss in the open field who's led the NFL in tackles the last 2 seasons.
You know, I know you get worried about wear and tear with running backs. I'm sorry, but Bijan would be staying in the game, dude. I would not be taking him out of here right now. I have got to get this offense on track.
But that's what it takes, a one-handed grab and then a great move just to move the sticks. Ritter's on the move here, flips it down to Jonnu Smith. Is able to elude a tackler, and we get a little rhythm going now. Nice 1st down gain. Laura?
Chris, we asked Bijan Robinson if he watches his own highlights, and he's a very humble guy. He said, I watch him and then I dismiss it. You got to think that catch will be one that he'll watch back. He said one of his favorites was his 1st touchdown against the Packers.
Wasn't used that much as a receiver at Texas. He was capable. It just wasn't his role. He lined up almost all of the time in the backfield. They're moving him around a lot in Atlanta so far. 2nd and 3 is more like it for this offense. Out of the I formation, it's Algier behind the fullback, and he'll bang forward and pick up another 1st down.
You know, in relation to Bijan, talking with Arthur Smith, and He honestly said it's really hard not to try to get him the football too much. You know, he kind of said, like, we have other good players in Kyle Pitts and Drake London and even in Mac Hollins, and you kind of live in a world where how many different ways can we get Bijan touches while not overdoing it and taking some opportunities away from other guys that are going to help the offense.
I'm with both you guys. I mean, if he doesn't make that great play, they punted the ball, and
No
Jacksonville's got good field position, moving already up 10 here. They rush 5 against Ritter, hit as he throws, but the catch is made across the 45 by Kadero Hodge, just his second on the season, picks up 10.
Yeah, this is just a curl flat. We go vertical to take the safety, then the flat. This is the read right there if you're the quarterback. You pin the safety with the vertical route. Once Muma widens with that flat route, ball out on time. Great job by Desmond Ritter. Look at him take this shot. A little bit to the head, and then put it out there for Hodge. Very good job timing-wise.
Yeah, Ray Robertson Harris clubbed him upside the neck there. Robinson barrels ahead, and this is the best the Falcons offense has looked by far. First down into Jacksonville territory.
Yeah, that's nice blocking by Matthew Berger on the left guard and Jake Matthews, number 70, the left tackle. You can see them sustain their blocks, get a body on a body, create some seams, and look, Bijan Robinson will get the ball downhill faster than anybody right now, and he has got open field moves that defensive backs just do not want to see on a regular basis.
8 runs of 10+ yards. That's third most in the league. Got it again. And even a little run like that's kind of exciting. There's a nice little cut in the hole. It's another first down.
Because doesn't it feel like every time he touches the football, we have the opportunity to see something cool and unique, and not only the ability to hit home runs, but one jump cut that you just don't often see. He is a feature talent in the NFL already. What, 1 month into the season?
The play-action passing game over the top has to come. Look, Andre Sisco, number 5, and Rayshawn Jenkins, these guys have already started committing to the line of scrimmage faster and faster, which each Bijan Robinson run. The shot play's coming.
Robinson motions across. Ritter's looking back to the right side and throws an interception. He threw it right into the hands of Darius Williams, who's going to take it all the way to the end zone. A crushing pick 6 just when the Falcons had the offense going. Darius Williams, who's been kind of a long shot guy ever since he came into the league, undrafted. Waived by the Ravens, picked up here a couple of years ago. That's an enormous play.
Look, he read it perfectly. It was basically like a modified 3-step drop. He just sat on it. He sat on the slant flat combination and just jumped right in front of Drake London. It was off to the races.
So Atlanta had the offense going, finally stringing together some first downs. Ritter throws it right to Darius Williams, who takes it 61 yards to the house. 17-0 Jags. Buckingham Palace. King is not in residence at the moment, FYI. Darius Williams' third career pick 6. The first 2 were with the Rams, and Desmond Ritter finds himself in a serious hole just when the offense had kind of gotten going on that possession.
And he made some nice throws and timing, right? The third down to Kadero Hodge, which was really good, and then to have that pick 6, it's just deflating for an offense. He's going to have to reset. Lou, you kind of talked about it. It is a cover 3-step. It's a slant and a flat. The read is what we call that flat defender. His job is to widen to the sideline. Now, he tells us what to do with the football. If he goes underneath, we throw the slant. If he goes over the top like he is right there, that ball should be kicked to that flat route right now. That is a massive misread by Desmond Ritter.
Look, it's smart on the part of Trey Herndon to go over the top. You're going ahead and conceding that flat route. The real play, though, is Darius Williams sitting on the 3-step drop and then just driving on the slant. That's textbook. That's exactly how you're supposed to play it.
Fake the toss to Algier. Ritter down the middle. Through another pick. Oh, my goodness. Andre Sisco to safety, up and moving. He loses the football, and they fall on it. Lewican recovered his teammate's fumble, but back-to-back picks by Ritter. This is getting worse by the moment for Arthur Smith's offense.
Look, if you want to stare down where you're going with the football, then a guy like Andre Sisco, who has just tremendous instincts, is just going to park in the middle of the field, and he's just going to read the quarterback. He's going to read the route combination, and just watch it. Watch Desmond Ritter. There's no look off. You see exactly where he's going with the football. He's trying to drive it to Kyle Pitts coming across on the intermediate crosser, and Andre Sisco's just saying, okay, here, just throw it to me. Just throw it to me. I'm just going to break on it. I have to catch it. That's too easy. Now that's too easy. You cannot just stare down a primary in the middle of the field with a safety already having closed off the middle of the field.
There's a lot to grumble about if you're a Falcons fan with the offense. Meanwhile, their defense tries to stop the bleeding here as Lawrence takes over in the red zone, trying to build in the 17-0. Short gain off the right side for Etienne. For Sisco, his 14th career pick. He picked off Mahomes in week 2 on a deep ball.
And last week, when they played the Houston Texans, there were two busted coverages between Sisco and Rayshon Jenkins. And the fact that he sits, Lou, to your point, in the middle of the field and doesn't go where he's not supposed to, that's a really good job of moving on from last week and turning that one into a turnover.
2nd and 8 for Jacksonville. They can smell blood here. So much for the slow starts. This is exactly what Peters was hoping for. Across the middle. The catch is made by Christian Kirk, who's been really involved this afternoon.
And this is a football team offensively that struggled in the red zone so far this season. So now this is when you start to feel good about yourself. They're bringing a 6th offensive lineman in. And it's, hey, we've got this 17-0 lead. We can start to kind of improve some of the stuff that we've got to get better at while also putting this team in a huge deficit.
Jacksonville spent a whole lot of time in practice the other day on red zone almost exclusively. Last 2 games, just 1 touchdown in 5 trips. Etienne tripped up at the line of scrimmage there. It was Grady Jarrett getting a hand on him.
I think down here, the number one thing you want to see out of Trevor Lawrence for this offense, trust. Let it go out of your hands just a fraction of a second sooner, just like you do in practice. Listen to what your eyes say. Throw it to the spot where your guy can go make the play before he's out of bounds when you're trying not to make that perfect throw.
Forget the field goal. Peterson says, let's build on this lead. This maybe put this struggling Falcons team away here in the 2nd quarter. They'll go for it. 4th and long yard. The throw for it. Lawrence has a lot of time, and he'll be hit. Hesitated, and the pass rush swallowed him up. Onyemata got him, and it's an empty trip as they cannot cash in the 2nd pick.
This is what I'm talking about with just trust if you're Trevor Lawrence. He's going to have Christian Kirk to essentially the back pylon. Watch him come from the right side of our screen. It's a little bit of a ball fake. The corner stays flat. Throw it right now for Christian Kirk to that back pylon, and you've got him there.
Look, he made it easier for the defense. He came off of it quick before it even came open, and then they were able to recover.
Gosh, he's got him.
Yeah, I mean, he came out. You could see his head. His head came to the middle of the field pretty quickly.
I'm just a neutral fan, but boy, do I hate a 4th down sack. Right? You throw the ball away. Got to give your guys a chance to make a play. Well, they hand the ball off to Bijan Robinson. No surprise, Dan. What do you do if you're Arthur Smith and you're Dave Ragone and you're trying to get Ritter calmed down? It's been about as bad as it can be so far.
Yeah.
1st down.
Be aware that he is still a very young player. You bring him to the sideline. What are you seeing? In those 2 passes, what did we actually see? And then you've got a part of your sheet that is like, hey, get back on track. A section where it's just easy completion throws for Desmond Ritter and challenge him. Make sure that we're being very clear with our reads. Get the football out of your hands.
I'm telling you, from a defensive perspective, I'm jumping everything that he's looking at initially. I'm saying right now we're going to get picks.
Robinson makes a cut. So 3 sacks, 2 picks. He's been hurried 5 times. Atlanta has 53 total yards. Fortunate their defense was able to make a stop there to at least stay in contact here, but this has just not been an improvement. This is going to be the 6th quarter in a row that Atlanta hasn't gotten a point 0 for 6 quarters if they can't do something in the final 2 minutes here. Inside the anchor, they're bellied up. The Seahawks fan over there, 17-0 Jacksonville. London, stay tuned for the All-State halftime report. Sam, Randy, Rex, Teddy analyze this game. There's going to be, I would guess, a conversation about Desmond Ridder. Adam Schefter's latest news. Preview of the slate later on this week for Sunday. So Atlanta, 2nd and 11 here. Ridder checks it down and they throw the ball underneath to Drake London. Take me inside a quarterback's brain. It's been rough. How can he calm down and begin to execute what is there?
Yeah, not overthinking. This is obviously a huge 3rd down to try to get a conversion.
Bijan, that's been the best weapon they have to convert a 3rd down, check it down, and they do move the sticks.
And what's a little bit different than college football for Desmond is NFL games are just so long, and there's so many different things that can happen wave-wise. If you're Desmond, it's just trying to clear your mind. You can't change the past. It's a huge opportunity in this 2-minute drill to get some kind of points and momentum.
They use 1 timeout of the challenge flag. He's got 2 to play with. The downfield shot, and it's almost intercepted again. Mac Hollins was running, but underthrown, and Darius Williams almost had a second.
They had the route combination called perfectly to try and hit that post against cover 4. Had one-on-one Mac Hollins going up against an undersized Darius Williams, but he didn't lay it out there. And Darius, look, you could have had 2. That's got to be yours.
2nd down, short throw and turning and diving is Kyle Pitts. He's short of the marker. 3rd down play, minute 20 left. Got to have a little urgency here. Bijan, they were looking for him. Somehow he makes a man miss in the backfield, got out of the tackle of Ledbetter, but it's 4th down.
Good job taking a timeout if you're Doug Peterson for Jacksonville. And Chris, you just called it, man. I mean, 2-minute drill,
timeout.
And everybody knew they were going to hand that football off to Bijan just because it's, in many ways, you don't have a ton of confidence in your pass game.
Going back, though, to that post to Mac Hollins.
Can't miss it.
That's got to be an explosive completion right there. You have got a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver going up against a 5'9" corner. Put it up there in a position where he doesn't have to stop and come back to the football. And that's an explosive right there. It's handed to you.
It felt like almost one of those, he tried to guide it out there instead of just cutting it loose.
The play call is perfect against a too-high scheme.
Yeah.
A perfect play call, perfect route combination. You just got to complete it.
Hollins has the one really explosive downfield play from this pass game this season, a 45-yarder against Green Bay. Pinion boots it to Kirk. He makes a fair catch at the 20, and now the Jags have 58 seconds to work with and a couple of timeouts. Here's the 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, look, this defense right now is just cluing in on Desmond Ridder's first look. Wherever he's looking first, they're not feeling as though that he's going to look them off. They're jumping the routes aggressively, and they should. That's exactly what they should do. And if you're just going to stare down the middle of the field, trying to get your tight end on a deep over route, and you're not going to look me off at all as a free safety, I'm just going to sit there, and I'm just going to bank on the fact that you're going to throw it to me, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's making it too easy on the Jacksonville defense right now.
I think Atlanta at halftime at least has to have the conversation. Do they pivot to Taylor Heineke after watching the last 6 quarters of offense for themselves?
A 30-year-old 9th-year player. Just recently with the Redskins. They get the ball to Christian Kirk. Let's see how Peterson plays this. Trying to add to the lead, perhaps.
You still have a timeout if you're Jacksonville, so if you're catching the ball outside the numbers, you're trying to get out of bounds and preserve time. Inside the numbers, we're trying to get as vertical as possible, and Trevor's got to know we have to get to about the 35 for a field goal attempt.
Here comes pressure. They get the ball quickly, and it's incomplete.
You can see what defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen is trying to do. He is obviously giving his troops the charge of this. When you're out there, you punching at that football, you're doing everything you can to turn it over. And if you can't do that, we're going to try and affect the quarterback. I'm going to start heating them up as much as possible. They have nothing to lose right. I mean, they're down 17, and the offense isn't doing a thing. As aggressive as they can be, he's going to be right now.
I would love to, 33 seconds on the clock, I'd love to see a shot. If you're Jacksonville here, if you're going to play man and come after me defensively, let's try to push the ball downfield.
And that's exactly where they've lived, though, on these 3rd and medium situations.
Ridley off to the left, and it's a long cross-field throw. The catch made by Christian Kirk. It is a first down, and 28 seconds to go. They'll run tempo here after a 16-yard gain. Still have the one timeout.
You could still work every aspect of the field. Got out of bounds, so clock is going to stop if you are offensively. The number one thing for Trevor, you cannot hold on to this football and take a sack. And then really a short completion, something 5 yards or so, does nothing for you. You're trying to get another chunk here offensively. A
chunk gets you in field goal range for McManus, who's kicked a 61-yarder in his career. Over to the far side again, targeting Kirk off his hands. D. Alford in coverage.
But that's a better incompletion. He catches that ball, it's for 3 or 4 yards, and you're more than likely taking another 15 or 20 seconds off the clock. I think that's the real thing that Trevor's got to be aware of. I'm trying to get the ball 10 or 12 yards down the field rather than 4 or 5.
That's a great point. That would have done nothing to improve the field goal position.
Absolutely. You're trying to get another 20 yards realistically, so the best way to do that is try to get one of these early down chunks. Middle of the field's got a chance to be open.
Lawrence looking to launch, and he'll be sacked again. Pass rush got to him. That was Bud Dufree. 7-yard loss. Onyemata was there too. Just a little hesitation. He tried to press the ball downfield, which should do it for the first half. Not a fitting ending to the half because Lawrence and this Jacksonville offense finally did get going. They get the pick 6 from Darius Williams. Cisco also had a pick, and Desmond Ridder, kind of a nightmarish first half for the Falcons quarterback. 17-zip for the Jaguars, trying to get a much-needed second victory on the season. The All-State halftime report coming up next from the studio.
Some people just know what road to take. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate.
The service road is faster.
Turn left.
Not happening.
He knows better than any GPS, and he'd point you in Allstate's direction.
Go all the way down the road past the big gray warehouse.
Take the next exit.
You're not from around here, so you don't know the back roads.
I don't want to be late for the party.
I'm gonna save us 5 minutes.
Some people just know what road to take.
You're on the fastest route.
Those are the people who know safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
This is the Allstate Halftime.
Private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Tonight's first half highlights are presented by Target.
London calling to the faraway fans.
He will produce the explosive plays.
Robinson, whoa!
I'm going to put you on Sports Center just like that.
Touchdown, Calvin Ridley is involved.
That's a great start for this offense.
And Josh Allen, the top sack man.
It's not going to be a London calling catch there.
Great job by Campbell.
A crushing pick 6.
That's too easy.
First half highlights brought to you by Target, mostly involving the Jacksonville Jaguars, who lead 17-0. It's moving pretty fast for the folks in Piccadilly, and I think for Desmond Ridder too, perhaps at this point, guys. Chris, Lewis, Dan, and Laura back with you. They'll get the ball to begin the third quarter in Atlanta, but Ridder, who had gone 111 passes in his career with just 1 pick, yeah, he could have had more, but in back-to-back 1st and 10 throws, intercepted.
It was a rough half for Desmond Ridder. He didn't see the field well, even on plays where Arthur Smith was just trying to call some plays to get him easy completions. He didn't make the throw, and then obviously those 2 turnovers. So Atlanta's got to figure out a way to get him settled in to start this second half and try to get as many completions as possible. And if he's not starting to see the field a little bit better, Lou, I think they got to have the conversation going somewhere else.
One of the things that you have to be conscious of is the fact that, look, your defense right now is saying, hey, look, 7 points is because of a pick 6. Another 7 points is because of a blown coverage by one of our best players. That won't happen again. So really the game is 3-0 to us.
Yeah.
And what you have to be careful of is when a defense is balling like that and playing so good, and they've worked so hard to get this defense to where it is now, you don't want those guys getting discouraged because your quarterback is out there making it impossible for you to win. So that's something Arthur Smith has to keep an eye on, both short term and probably long term. Desmond Ridder is already kind of declaring who he is right now.
Guys, if you're the Jags, you're thinking, okay, there are some positive signs. We're up big here. But it could even have been worse from an Atlanta perspective. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags unable to cash in the Cisco pick. They got stopped on 4th down. At the end of the half, he takes a sack there when they had a chance to get in field goal range.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not all, perfect for Jacksonville and for Doug Peterson right now. They have some things they need to clean up too, because this game could easily be much tighter than what it is right now.
And Laura, to get the Arthur Smith perspective on that first half. Laura, what did he say?
Yeah, Chris, he said it couldn't have got much worse than it was. He also said they're not even considering making a quarterback change from Desmond Ridder to Taylor Heineke. He said at this point, they look up at the scoreboard and say, we're lucky to be down only 17-0. He expects them to come out swinging here. He said that's the plan, to get Ridder more comfortable, to be as aggressive as possible. And he said this falls on everyone. We're all playing poorly.
Coming out swinging needs to include, though, Bijan Robinson as a receiver. If you don't feel like you can be patient with the run game down 17, you got to get number 7 the football any way you can, right? This is Algier on the pitch, makes a nice cut. He barrels for about 10 before Jenkins gets him down.
Yeah, that's a nice start. Look, their best players right now that they can really count on are the 2 backs. It's Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, who, remember, just a year ago, he was a 1,000-yard rusher. So they know that they have some guys that can produce explosive plays at the running back position. I would start leaning on them and really tell this offensive line, look, you need to take over this game.
Robinson back in there on 2nd and 1. Bijan's got it, makes a cut, and explodes. Gets to the edge. Gets a block. Bijan Robinson run out inside the 30. There's a very positive start for the Falcons using their best player on offense.
Yeah, that's that outside zone to where they get everyone to overcommit, and Bijan just pops it out the backside.
It's a phenomenal job of pressing the hole by Bijan. Scotty Miller comes from the right to take away that safety dropping in. And then the ability to press the hole, cut back, you wash everybody down on that defensive line. The zone run hits early in the second half. If I was Atlanta, I'm going to throw the football, I'm doing bootlegs, getting Desmond Ridder out of the pocket.
37-yard run for Robinson, who's got it again. He'll move the ball down inside the 25.
But this has got to be the Bijan and Tyler show. That's how they have
even
to
down
get
17.
Right now, I mean, there's plenty of time here. There's plenty of time. They need to get a score on the board, right?
Patience.
And just make this into a 10-point game. And then everything, everything's on the table again. But you got to lean on your best players, the people who you can count on, who you know aren't going to make mistakes and give the ball back to the other team.
I think if you are throwing it, Chris, it's bootlegs, it's screens, it's very easy throws and decisions.
Robinson out, Algier in. They fake it to him. And on 2nd down, nothing there. He just chucks it in the dirt. Kyle Pitts was well covered. And it'll be 3rd and long. What do you do?
Look, I mean, Kyle Pitts has not touched the football. You need to get the ball going to him. You had Mac Hollins on a big shot play. You missed that one. Drake London is a guy who, when he came out in the draft, we raved about his ability to win in these type of situations. I'd be looking to get the ball to number 5 right here.
He's in the slot right. Robinson far right. Ball is out quickly, and the catch is made by Kaderil Hodge, and that is a 1st down at the 16.
I'm telling you how lucky he is that Herndon did not pick this ball off. He sat on this route. He's staring it down. You see Trey Herndon right there?
He breaks before the receiver.
He sure did. It's a good thing he put it on his outside shoulder, which is something you talk about all the time, throwing away from coverage and helping the receiver uncover. But man, small margin for error.
Falcons in the red zone needing 7. They give it back to Robinson. Thought about bouncing it. Cuts it back inside and earns just a couple. Bijan went at 10 times, caught 4 passes today.
So big thing right now, if you're Atlanta, Arthur Smith, Desmond Ridder, the goal to get points coming out of the half is there. So the really smart decision making is on 2nd and long here. I'm not throwing the football really towards the middle of the field. Again, I'm trying to move the pocket and try to get a very simple read where you're high-lowing something if you're going to throw the football.
It's Algier, and it's off his fingertips. It would have been a backward pass if he'd thrown it right to him. He tries to lead him out in the flat. Sometimes the simple plays are looking difficult for this offense.
Yeah, it's just a grind right now, Chris. I mean, it really is a grind to get any kind of rhythm going and sustain positive momentum. Right?
I think clarity for Desmond Ridder matters a ton here. Number one, you're going to get people up at the line of scrimmage for Jacksonville defensively. What's your communication plan? Can't take sacks. And then 2, where's the matchup that you love? Matt Collins versus Gary Williams on the right side with
there you
go.
London's off to the left side, meanwhile. Play clock is winding down. You got to hurry here if you're Ridder. You just get it off. Pressure is picked up. Lofting to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Drake London. And the Falcons on the board. Let's double check to make sure the feet were down. An impressive drive for Atlanta of 75 yards when they needed it.
Look, I really like the play call, the stack release. Let Drake London get some space off the line of scrimmage to get down the field. And then he puts him on him back shoulder. That's the kind of route concepts, the kind of formation variation you got to use to help get your guys open, because Drake can make those plays down.
And to throw. I mean, just throw a decent enough, not bad football. Drake London, the strength and the body control.
Top receiver a year ago had 72 catches. Collects his 2nd touchdown of the season, and Atlanta shows life. A very positive start for the 3rd quarter. 8 plays to cover those 75 yards, and finally London's touchdown gives the folks watching in Atlanta something to be happy about. The lead just 10 now. But they get their first touchdown in 6+ quarters. They had as many yards in that possession, 75, as in their first 6 drives. Ridder to London. He said he had to make a play. You can't come to London and not make a play.
That, man. Well done.
Right?
That's why you're the best.
Well, work to do, but you said, Lewis, now there's maybe some more juice in this Falcons defense. They've seen their offense make a play. They've been doing okay so far.
Absolutely. Minus 1 big mistake in the back end. They've been on it.
Motions to create matchups. So you get Drake London, you're going to motion him. Now watch how this defender taps the top of his head. That means top hat coverage. Man to man, he's going to take the back receiver, Drake London. That's the nickel. He sets him with patience off the line, and then the back shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's smart play calling on the part of Arthur Smith. We talked about the fact that Drake had to get going. You got to get your ball to your playmakers and move them around. Change up where they're lining up. Use some motions and some stack alignments to get him free off the line of scrimmage so he can get working. That's great game planning right there on the part of Arthur Smith.
And you saw Arthur Smith going over and trying to get his guys to stay positive. London after the touchdown catch. It's a first down throw and catch for Calvin Ridley. That 30-yard touchdown early was the only catch in the first half for the former Falcon.
Yeah, look, I can tell you this. This is going to pump life into this Falcons defense, which really had been playing pretty darn good in the first half anyway. But now they're saying, hey, look, this is a 1-score game. And so Ryan Nielsen, I mean, right now you kind of open up your playbook a little bit more. Now you start kind of selectively choosing when to go after this quarterback. Make sure you stay up on the line, press these wide receivers.
It's Kirk in motion. Lawrence instead looks across the middle and delivers to Etienne, who takes a shot but gains enough for the first down. Nate Landman, big hitting back that you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hallmark of their philosophy here in Atlanta. They want to be a physical, punishing, tackling defense. And Ryan Nielsen right now, I'll tell you, he's not going to play too much sitting back and just kind of like trying to keep the top on the defense. This is a team that plays forward, downhill. They want to take the attack to the offense. And you can see what happened when they sat back in zone coverage earlier. They gave up a big play. They will get up on the line and they will get after this offense.
Nielsen coming across from New Orleans. Would you say Dennis Allen disciple?
First
fair
charge
to say?
timeout.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. This is a 30-second timeout.
Some of the identities of that defense. Number one, Lewis just hit on it, physical. Number two, they always play what we call shell, 2 safeties deep. And the only way to do that is if you are very good stopping the run with a light box, meaning one less defender. And the only way that happens is your defensive line with Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett and Onyemata have to do a very good job of kind of hindering teams in their willingness to do it, because you're really trying to say we're committing to coverage, and they do a very good job of it.
What's interesting, going back to your point about from a philosophy standpoint, who are they really? Look, yeah, Ryan Nielsen comes from New Orleans and Dennis Allen, but they have 2 other coaches on the staff, Jerry Gray, and Steve Jackson, who come from the Greg Williams tree, and it's a very aggressive attacking tree.
Etienne, a short gain. Other than the 22-yard scramble by Lawrence, they really kept the running backs in check for Jacksonville.
Big time. And they've done a very good job after that first drive or two of kind of settling in with how they were going to defend some of the run action. And they're challenging everybody but Calvin Ridley to try to beat them. Christian Kirk's been targeted 10 times. Evan Ingram 4 times. Calvin Ridley only has 2 targets. So they're making you kind of beat them with your second and third options.
Etienne far to the left in this 2nd and 7 play. In the slot, they find the tight end, and he bangs forward for a first down there. It's Luke Farrell.
That's a heck of a job there by Farrell of getting that first down. You see at 6'5", 250 pounds, you see how he fell forward for an extra 2-3 yards? I mean, those are the kind of things that Jacksonville is able to do, especially with their tight ends. Evan Ingram, talking to Press Taylor again, offensive coordinator before the game, they'll get him going too, because they think with the ball in his hands, he can do some things too after the catch that are very, very special.
Peterson wants to get the tight ends more touches. A lot of coaches say that. It's a couple for Farrell today. And first down. Etienne is just going to be mugged in the backfield. Nowhere to run. Calais Campbell, the old man. You get 3 30-plus-year-old guys on that defensive front of Atlanta. Campbell, Jarrett, and Onyemata.
And Calais Campbell's got most games of any active defensive lineman played in the NFL. And that is a group that Ryan Nielsen very much so relies on. Arthur Smith with the leadership and the experience that they have kind of playing in so many big games.
Decade team, 2010 in the NFL.
It's a good job. Trevor sees what the defense is doing. He's communicating at the line of scrimmage, trying to find a way to burn the defense that you're going to get into.
They bring pressure late, get the ball out fast, and Tim Jones going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage. D. Alford, the nickel back, and there is a little bit of different juice in this Atlanta defense since the score.
No doubt. Look, D. Alford, again, one of the guys who their coaches said is an unsung hero. Look how fast he reads this play. I mean, he beats Christian Kirk coming right out of the gate. And that's a hallmark of their team. Again, when we talk about downhill, we're talking about a team that loves to come forward to the line of scrimmage. They do not play soft.
It's going to be paramount. This is the guy you have to have vision on. If he comes down, you can work to the bottom of the screen. If he hangs, you got to work in the middle of the field.
Pressure comes again. They flip it out. They were trying to find Jamichael Hasty, who released out of the backfield. He hit the ground, and it's 4th down.
You know, it's interesting there. It's a good thing that they were able to get some pressure and kind of disrupt that play. Calvin Ridley coming across on a shallow crosser. They totally let him go.
Yeah.
Didn't disrupt him at the line. No one picked him up coming out of the backside. And you're going to see him come across the screen. But here, oh, okay, he trips right there trying to get out on the route. But it was a nice read by the secondary. They probably would have came down and tackled that short of the line to gain anyway.
It's a very effective punt there by Logan Cook. Knocks it dead at about the 6-yard line. That's where Ritter tried to build on that touchdown. Down by 10, 47 yards on the punt. Crucial catch, because early detection of cancer can save a lot of lives. And so don't wait. Visit NFL.com/crucial catch to find your local cancer screening resources. Learn how to reduce your risk. Now, for the Falcons, Dazzle and Dine is an event that honors women currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer and celebrates breast cancer survivors. Chris Lindstrom, guard, lost his mom Dawn to ovarian cancer. He has been immersed in the cancer community since then. Falcons from the 7. Give it to Bijan on the end around, and Robinson takes a shot. A flag comes in as he's tackled at the 11. Oluokun and Chad Muma combining. It's a different look than end around to get the running back a carry.
Just trying to find creative ways to get the ball in the hands of their most explosive playmaker.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Holding, defense, number 99. Illegal chalk block, offense, number 63. Those penalties offset, replay, first down.
Been a pretty clean game. Not many flags today. Laura?
You guys were talking about Chris Lindstrom and his work with cancer research for his mom. He said, "My mom lived life to the absolute fullest. She treated everyone with respect and kindness. She lit up a room when she arrived, and she loved her family and dedicated herself to her kids. She was our biggest fan and greatest advocate." He wanted to make sure that the world knew that, guys. So thanks for letting us get it in.
Indeed. So many all over the world touched, and it's a nice response from Chris Lindstrom. After the offsetting, 1st and 10 again. Robinson in the backfield. Brings some pressure. John's got to the right, makes another one of those little quick cuts. Gets out across the 17 before Williams gets him down.
And I think second half wise, Atlanta's into something. We saw the big run last drive. That's a zone concept, which everybody pitched, push to the right. Push to the right, they got pressure off, they shut it down. This is another one of those zone concepts. Lou, it's allowing the offensive line to get some double teams and securing some stuff. Bijan, 15 touches for 95 yards.
Not to mention Chris Lindstrom. You see him on that play. He took his guy 5 yards off the ball over here down near the numbers. This offensive line is starting to gear it up.
2nd and 1. Stutter step by Robinson at the line of scrimmage. Did push forward enough to get the first down.
That's a nice job by Foye Oluokun, one of the most productive tacklers in the NFL over the past couple of years.
He's led the league. If he gets a three-peat now, 3rd straight year, I wonder if Falcons fans know the last guy to do that, lead the NFL in tackling 3 consecutive years.
Is that like a trivia question?
Kind of.
You said Falcons fans?
Falcons fans. Remember Jesse Tuggle?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, played with him.
You played with him, Lewis?
Yeah, man, they called him the Hammer. This guy would absolutely just rock your world. Unbelievable hitter.
And the throw, incomplete. It was Pitts going up trying to make a play, and Tyson Campbell knocked it loose. You lead the league back-to-back years.
You've done something.
Yeah.
See, that's what you're talking about a little bit earlier as far as Ritter, just giving these big wide receivers a chance just by putting the ball up there. I mean, Pitts had it in his hand. That's a tremendous finish by Tyson Campbell to get that out. But that's what you got to do. Give them a shot.
Right.
Just give them a shot. These guys don't separate very well as big as they are, so they're going to have to win their 50-50 balls.
Smith, fullback motions back in. 2nd and 10. Robinson to the right. Gets around the edge. Bijan Robinson with a stiff arm at the end of the run against Campbell, moves the ball near the 40. Picked up 21.
This is the benefit of having a center that's athletic. Look at Dolman, 67, sets him, he claps the right side. He's athletic enough to get on the edge, but also kind of secure it to get that ball for Bijan outside.
And you've got a wide receiver like Mac Hollins, like blocking like a tight end.
Man down for the Jags in the secondary. It's safety Cisco who had the pick in the first half. We'll step aside. Atlanta's got something going here down 10. Place to get all kinds of stuff. 17-0 at halftime, but the Falcons put a touchdown on the board and already moved it from their 7 out to the 39. Cisco suffering just cramps, should be able to return. Riddle Patterson is in the backfield. Ritter looks across the middle and delivers a dart, and that's a catch made by Kyle Pitts. If they could get him involved, that would be very helpful to the attack in the second half.
Did I just see Desmond Ritter look off the linebacker? Did I see him just look off Chad Muma and make him? You see that? See, now maybe he's starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm here. Look at Muma right here at the top of your screen. It looks like Desmond just kind of like moved him outside with his eyes, opened up the throwing window.
Proactive with your eyes, not
there you
reactive,
go.
right? Move guys to help your wideouts and tight ends get open.
Play action on first down. Pressure comes, and he flips it short. And that's Algier is going to be trapped behind the line. Lewican got him. Josh Allen pressured the quarterback.
It's just a remarkable play by Lewican.
And it's unacceptable, quite honestly, by Chris Lindstrom and Matthew Bergeron. There's two guys sitting there. If they get that blocked and cut off that inside-out pursuit, he's out the gate. You've got to make that block.
So can you run the football here if you're Atlanta? This isn't one of those situations. I really think you got to move the quarterback to try and get a 6 or 7 yard completion, because that run is still going to set you up in long, 3rd and long.
Robinson slot right, joined by Smith. Ritter looking to the left and delivers a throw that is low and behind Mac Hollins. 3rd and 14.
So 3rd and long so far. Jacksonville's defense, anytime they've really pressured, they've had some success. Sometimes it's playing man coverage and here comes 5 or 6 guys, and sometimes it's what we call a zone pressure. Blitzers from one side, droppers from the other. Desmond Ritter, if it's man, find your matchup. If not, you got to have great eyes with droppers.
I'm going with Drake London right down here at the bottom of the screen, one-on-one with Darius Williams. Looks like you're going to get middle of the field close coverage, or maybe Rayshon's going to drop back.
And a flag before. Saw Williams was playing way off when it came charging up before the snap.
False start, offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Nice job of changing up the look, Chris. That's what you're referring to. They're playing around with their disguises, making sure they don't give Desmond Ritter a clean picture.
Smith right there. Makes it an even tougher 3rd and 19 now.
I would not be opposed to a shot here. I mean, if you throw a ball 40, 50 yards downfield, it's like an interception or a punt.
3-man rush, should have plenty of time. Instead, just checks it down to Robinson, hopes he can make 4 guys miss. Knocked out of bounds by Herndon at the 50, and here comes the punt team. At least they're able to perhaps flip the field. They were backed up at the 7. They did move it 42 yards, but
I just love in
possession feels a little more urgent now.
In those moments, I like taking it, especially in these Atlanta Falcon wide receivers with a Drake London. Hey, let's go one-on-one, and if we get the opportunity, throw it downfield, and Drake go make a play on the ball instead of just checking it down when you have no shot.
Pinion drops the point and boots it high, and Kirk, remember, he's a new punt returner. Not too sure of himself, but does make the catch at the 10-yard line. Back in 30 seconds after a word from Jameson.
Football has gone international, and the world's most fun and lively city should be next. Dublin, Ireland. If you think I sound excited about a game in Dublin, wait till you hear from the locals.
The games are over 3 hours long.
Is there something wrong in America?
Okay. The sheer excitement on the Dubliners' faces. Let's toast this monumental idea from me, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jameson, 2 Irish legends with absolutely zero sway to make this happen. Sláinte.
That went well, right?
NFL games do take 3 hours. Dan, you were delighted the fact that we took you to the big Tottenham Hotspur Liverpool game. 2 hours for a Premier League. 2 hours and out. That's it.
It was first of all, the stadium's spectacular. Second of all, the game, the first half happened, and I was like, wait, why is everyone getting up? It's halftime already. It felt like a first half sometimes in our football games.
You should have seen my man over here analyzing a sport he'd never seen live before. The wheels were turning.
It's hard to turn it off, isn't it?
He's noticing Liverpool changing their defensive shape. I mean, that's brilliant stuff. ETN knocked down after a short gain. You couldn't help it, right?
I'm much better at telling people what is happening than actually doing it myself. So that was a fun environment, man.
That's where the Bills will take on the Jags next week, Tottenham Stadium. That was as weird a game as you'll see. 2 direct red cards for Liverpool and an own goal to lose the game in the 96th minute.
Hope we can have a finish like that today.
Back to American football. 2nd and 7 for the Jags. Gets the ball to Ingram out of the backfield, and he turns the corner, and they do spot him with first down yardage right across the 20.
And that ball comes out of Trevor Lawrence's hands so quickly. I mean, just a little bit of a lateral motion to Evan Ingram. You're just trying to set a little bit of a pick. He outflanks that defense. See how quickly that ball comes out decision-making wise? He purposely throws it on that back shoulder so he can turn and then catch. That ball's coming out of his hands.
Ingram talking about all the supporters. He got a speed coach, a strength coach. He's got a chef that cooks his meals. It takes a village now to support these NFL guys, and he's smart to use some of the money that he made in the last deal to set himself up. Flag comes out as Lawrence launches downfield. The pass nicely broken up by Akuda, but that's in the holding zone there.
Holding. Offense, number 79. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ebiketie came right at the quarterback that time.
Yeah, watch Fortner right in the center. He's going to be the center, okay? Now, as this play action moves, he's moving with them. I don't know if I see a hold there.
He grabbed him and snatched him to the ground. You know how offensive linemen do it sometimes, man.
Oh, come
on. Come on. Don't always give him the benefit of the doubt, Dan. He might have pulled him to the ground. But no, Luke Fortner is a good football player. A good football player. And that's probably one that you see not get called a lot.
Sure.
So 1st and 20. Quickly zips it to Ingram across the middle, and they get back near the original line of scrimmage. Laura reporting that D. Alford, the nickelback, is being evaluated for a possible concussion. So the starter at nickel not in the game right now.
And that's a big loss because now in the first half we saw the Christian Kirk show because they're trying to take Calvin away. And now we've seen a little bit of the emergence of Evan Ingram. 3 catches in this second half. I love the hot into there. If you're Jacksonville, you're starting to work those slot receivers against a depleted somewhat Atlanta group.
Yeah, Clark Phillips, the fine rookie from Utah, not available today. Final minute of the quarter. Second down handoff to Etienne, who will pick his way for a short gain.
I just really like how this Falcons defense plays. Square shouldered, guys locking blockers out at the line of scrimmage, getting extension with their hands. I'm telling you what, folks, I don't know how many people of you out there know who Nate Landman is, number 53, the linebacker who right now is playing for Troy Anderson. But this young man can hit. And there are some big boy hits going on down on this field right now. And this game is very much so hanging in the balance.
They can get off the field here in 3rd and 7.
Man to man.
Chances. He circled Ingram, was off to the left. He comes across. Instead, Lawrence looks downfield and finds Kirk for another first down in front of Mike Hughes.
Look at this timing right now. He sees 2 safeties, trailing nickel defender. Watch the timing between him and Christian Kirk. Before he even gets to the top of his cut, ball's out now, throw it to a spot. Man, that's just understanding how guys are going to get out of their cuts. Fantastic.
Falcons cut the lead to 10 at the end of 3. 17-7, Jack. English football here. And the crowd singing Sweet Caroline as we begin the final quarter. Jacksonville trying to keep things going, build on this lead. They're still going. Flip short here. Ingram's got it. They're still singing Sweet Caroline as the Jags move the ball to the Falcons 41. They might sing the rest of the quarter.
Well, the chance yesterday in the game, but I thought this was a Red Sox thing. Is England taking over this song?
Nothing. I think Neil Diamond transcends national borders, Dan. It's a Penn State thing in college football, of course, in America.
I'll tell you, Doug Peterson is calling Sweet Evan Ingram. Right now, he's getting the ball to him and letting him catch and run. The #1 tight end in the NFL in terms of yards after the catch.
They feed Etienne on first and 6 catches for Ingram. That was a priority, right? Get him involved early and frequently.
They have 18 targets right now between Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. Calvin Ridley has 3.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a very conscious effort of, Lou, if your guys are going to take Ridley away, we have two other very viable people to get the ball to.
Sure, and that's just team building 101, right? I mean, you can't defend, you can't take out everybody. You can't make a concerted effort to take out everybody. It's next man up in terms of positions. And they've got some playmakers on this team. It's nice to see them getting used.
2nd and 6. ETN smashes forward. Ingram said yesterday, this pass game has been struggling. So I asked myself the question, how can I be a spark? What can I do as a player to get involved? And he's taken the most of his opportunities today.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing he does is run with the football in his hands. And that's what they tell you there. He's not the most technical route runner, but once you get him on the move and get him the football, he's tough to bring down.
And we've seen so far 3rd down tonight when Atlanta has decided to play forms of man coverage. Trevor Lawrence has really relied on Ingram and Kirk. Ingram finding that matchup in the middle of the field and saying, if you're going to favor Ridley, get the ball to those guys.
Kirk comes in motion. 3rd and 6. Play clock at 1. Lawrence steps up, avoids the rush. He can run for it and does dive to the 30. Give him a couple steps to get those long strides going, and he can hurt a defense. Scrambles for 10.
That's a big body out there at 6'6", 220 pounds.
This is a tremendous job by Scherf. You're going to get the pick stunt. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have the chance to go run if Scherf doesn't go over and get him. This is fantastic. Your backer leaves, go get that looper, and then Trevor, no hesitation to go get that 1st down.
Lawrence is rushed for 39.
Good job protecting the football at the end.
ETN. A lot of runs that look like that. He hasn't been able to really find a crease and explode into the open.
For me right now, this is what I want to see out of Jacksonville. Can you finish the football game? It felt like that at the back end of the 1st half, and there was some missed opportunities. Atlanta comes out in the 2nd half, punches right away with that drive. Can you finish the football game with a touchdown for Jacksonville and kind of gain a ton of momentum for your offense?
Yeah, they've struggled down here once you get into the high red zone area. And this has been an area of strength for the Falcons defense. They've got to come away with a stop here, and they need preferably to get the football back.
Lawrence, long throw, and that's catch made by Kirk just in time before A.J. Terrell arrived. So 3rd down again. Wholesale changes for the Falcons, who hockey line change to get the 3rd down package out there.
That's right. Get the fresh pass rushers in, and now we've been talking about the fact that Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk have gotten going. You know that they're going to put A.J. Terrell on Calvin Ridley. You have to take care of 17 and 13. There's Terrell on Ridley down here at the bottom of the screen.
Kirk up to the left.
Zone coverage if you're Trevor Lawrence. High-low. Ball out quick, high-low.
Backpedals. On the move. Has space again. Launches to the end zone. Just over the hands of Hasty. So here comes the field goal team.
They missed. Christian Kirk was wide open. They turned him loose. They blew a coverage here. Just watch Christian Kirk right here. Watch him as he gets deep down the field. They turned him loose. Trevor comes off of it. He's wide open on the 7 route. It looked like he had time to maybe stay down there.
I think he's got to cut that ball loose. You got to see that if you're Trevor Lawrence.
McManus from 43 knocks it through. First points of the 2nd half for Jacksonville, and the lead is 13. 10 and a half to play. Falcons still within 2 scores. Folks in London will be watching Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Seahawks offense lighting it up. Geno Smith and company's 37 back-to-back games against the struggling Giants in prime time. Manning cast Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Joe and Troy, of course, main broadcast. So the Jaguars add 3 to the lead, but maybe just as importantly, guys, they chew up almost half a quarter on that 65-yard drive.
It's good, right? You feel good about that, but you sit there, man, there's opportunities for us to go to great offensively.
It's true. They've left points on the field and left opportunities out there to really put away Atlanta. Still a 13-point margin. Bijan Robinson with almost all of the rushing yards, and he's been involved in the passing game. Continues to be, as you said in the open, just a huge percentage of their production.
Yeah, it's just too hard to win like this when your explosives are having to come from the running back position and you can't get the ball down the field more than what you're doing right now. They've taken a couple shots.
Right.
Some of them have been there, but they're just not connecting.
It's been the story of the season, hasn't it?
Sure has.
Ritter steps up, good protection, ball tipped at the line. Getting a hand up there was Muma. Their hands on lots of passes today.
Just got to get that ball up and down over top of Muma. That ball looked like it was awful flat.
This is why I always say, like, make the right throw instead of any throw. That dropping linebacker, Lou, this is a firm ball. You just want a little bit of touch on it, but not too much air, so the safety gets over there. And that's where you want to make that ideal trajectory ball. Yeah.
Muma's made an impact in his first start. He only played a couple of snaps in the first 2 games. But with Boyd out injured, he's stepped up. Algier runs to the right side. Rayshon Jenkins got him down. It's a total of 6 pass deflections by this defense to go along with the 2 picks they have.
They have long, rangy players, especially at the linebacker position. Muma's 6'3". Foye Oluokun is 6'2". Devin Lloyd, when he's healthy, is 6'3". So they make it tough to make those layered throws.
You got to handle your protection if you're Desmond Ritter. Communicate. Backers walked up on either side of the center. Are they going to drop or are they going to come?
They drop on 3rd and 6, and Ritter squeezes it into Drake London. He is right near the marker at the 35 when they're moving the sticks.
Good timing. Those linebackers pop out. Muma's widening. That ball's got to get up now before Drake London's ready for it. And listen, he had a very first rough half. But that ball placement, again, throwing it away from that left arm coming over for Herndon. We've seen that a little bit in the second half out of Desmond Ritter.
Ritter steps up and can run and slides down as Muma was closing in.
You know what you'd like to see on one of these first down plays, Dan? Is a double move, a curl and go, something where, look, these guys are sitting on the short stuff.
Sure.
When they're trying to find those open holes, just kind of spot it up and then take off. And if they can protect it up and put it over the top, I'm telling you, these DBs right now are biting on everything short and intermediate. You just wonder if one of those double moves will be dialed up here soon.
Ritter moving Hollins to the left side. Robinson makes a cut. Bijan Robinson barreling into Jacksonville territory to the 45. Wingard got him down. 14-yard gain.
Watch the double teams. The double team, left guard, left tackle, center, backside guard. Bijan with a beautiful vision for that cutback. I like that Arthur Smith is playing with some tempo.
Ritter across the middle. Complete. Jonnu Smith still running. Pushed out inside the 15 by Darius Williams, and Atlanta threatening now to cut into this lead. 31-yard chunk for the pass game.
He's being way more proactive with his eyes. This is fantastic. He's just going to move that linebacker, peek to his right. You're going to rip Jonnu Smith behind him. Very good ball by Desmond Ritter.
He's finding the holes in this zone coverage in between the numbers.
2 tight ends in. Algier is the back. He's got it, and immediately he's going to be swarmed behind the line. That was just Oluokun running straight downhill and making a play 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
He wasn't fooled by the ball handling at all. When the quarterback extends his arms out there like that, he's usually not going to bring it back in and throw it. And he just decided to trigger and come downhill and say, look, I'm going to take my shot and get a TFL, a tackle for loss. Oluokun, he's a tackling machine. It's hard to fool him.
Facing the team that drafted him out of Yale. Josh Allen is being looked at by the elect training staff for Jacksonville.
I think if you're Atlanta sitting here, 2nd and 15, You got to be thinking play call wise here. I'm trying to get 6 or 7 yards here. One of those zone spots, because with about 7:11 to go, it feels like this is 4-down territory. Getting down 10 with 6 minutes to go isn't ideal for your football team. I think you got to be thinking, I'm calling this 2nd down essentially like it's 1st down.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm getting this ball to number 5 again. How do we free him up?
Yeah.
Just how do we get it to? I'm thinking players over plays. I need to get the ball to Drake London.
He's in the slot to the right along with Hollins. Yep. Hits off to the left. Pressure, and the ball is batted down. Mumai came free and just rejected that one. Another pass batted away by this Jags defense.
Those long, lanky players. I mean, this is, again, 6'3", probably got 33, 34-inch arms. You see him right here. He's not going to get there to get the sack, but then get your hands up. Distort the throwing window.
3rd and 15.
Players over plays. Again, where is Drake London? How do I get him open? How do I get him one-on-one?
Far right. Over there, Lewis. He's got a big cushion there from Williams. Ritter instead looks across the middle and throws down inside the 5-yard line. And Jonnu Smith has made 2 big plays on this drive. They're short of the markers, so see if they take the 3 or go for it on 4th and 3.
First of all, great throw. I think you got to go for this. I love the fact that this is one of the more creative offenses when it comes to run action if you're Arthur Smith. Can you get a ball fake? Get defense flowing horizontally, get Desmond Ritter on the edge, and try to get a big body running away from someone.
Easy call here, down 13. 3 of 5 this season on 4th down. Ritter on the move. Looks to the end zone. London goes up. Did he get the feet down? No, he did not. Caught the ball. Trey Herndon was in coverage. And Trayvon Walker got after the quarterback, and they get the stop.
Just a game of inches. You're going to see Mac Hollins running the flat route. Drake trying to go to that back pylon.
Man, it's the right decision by Desmond Ritter. Does he get that right foot down?
He just runs out of room. You're going to see the left, the right's going to hit the white. Right there.
Great job by Herndon, just carrying him out of bounds. It was close, but Trey Herndon shoving London beyond the back line, and the Falcons come up empty.
You see it right there. He's just not able to get that other foot down. What a nice play by Trey Herndon, though, of just continuing to push him out of bounds, come up through the pocket, try and get the ball out.
Some positive moments for the Falcons offense, which has needed them, but ultimately painful because they used 435, moved it 69 yards, but couldn't cut into the lead.
Yeah, me and Drake London, 2 guys that wish there was a little bit more space in the back of an end zone.
A lot of receivers that wish that.
It's a good drive, some really good moments for Desmond Ritter as well, and I would love to see that throw be pulled towards the sideline rather than the back of the end zone. The end zone is wider than it is deeper, but Trey Herndon with a great play.
Now Lawrence figures to use all of the play clock on 2nd and 7. It's a throw, catch made by Ingram, who stays in bounds. It is a 1st down.
I don't know if there's a guy who throws the out route right now more consistently and better than Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the ball just comes out of his hands so effortlessly and confidently, and that is such a difficult throw. It's always out in front. It's one of his favorite routes no matter who he's throwing the ball to.
Talked about Lawrence, who is fundamentally a very humble, unselfish person and player, and he always will be, but you're still the #1 overall pick, right?
Sure.
You're the face of a franchise, and you see other quarterbacks kind of viewed differently, I guess, by fans. And you want to have those kind of wow moments, right? You want to have the SportsCenter highlight reels and the 400-yard games. It's not going to be that for him. It's going to be a satisfying win, apparently.
But didn't he? You've spent so much time with him, obviously, from his time with Clemson. We've got the chance to talk with him a couple times. Sitting with him yesterday was the most, I guess, confident and convicted he felt about his own play and this team. that I think I've ever had the time, at least talking with him. He felt very much aware that we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he was convicted in the fact that they would pull out of it, that he would get the timing right with Calvin Ridley, that they would improve, although I think there's definitely an awareness on his part and everyone else's part that we can't always just wait for it to happen. Like someone's going to make it happen. We got to go out and make it happen right now.
Right.
And he started the game that way, taking off and running when the defensive backs turned their back. He was much more intentional in this game.
Now 7 of their points have come from Williams' pick 6, so they're not exactly lighting the scoreboard up, but this would be, if they can finish it, as you said, a much needed win to get to 2-2 with the Bills next week, and he'll face one of those elite quarterbacks in Josh Allen.
And it's great to fix things after wins.
On the move on play action, Lawrence sets up and launches downfield, and Ridley couldn't come up with it, but was interfered. That's A.J. Terrell, who got beaten early in the touchdown, and against his former team, Ridley has made an impact. Not a huge stat day, but the touchdown early was huge to set the tone.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. The ball we placed in the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
When you see A.J., he clearly had shut it down. He didn't think the ball was coming, neither did Calvin. And when it's underthrown like that, a lot of times your natural reaction as you're turning to look for the football is to put your hands on the receiver. And if it impedes his ability to make a catch, they're going to call it. I mean, you see that happen every Sunday in the NFL on underthrown footballs.
The 40-yard penalty moves the ball to the 41 and gives Jacksonville the opportunity to just chew on more of this clock. ETN stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Dupree and others.
Smart job by Trevor of just putting it up there, though.
I love the play call.
Yeah. Smart job by him.
But just to continue that point, we talked about this passing game needing a spark. It's going to get much tougher. The reason why this was so important to get to 2-2 is because, you know, you got the Bills next week. You got a very, tough schedule coming up. You get to the bye, and then you've got, the 49ers, the Bengals at Cleveland, the Ravens. I mean, it's going to be really tough to find easy spots in the second half of the schedule, but they'll feel a lot better at 2-2.
Yeah, I think the point we were making about him coming up against some of these other quarterbacks who are dynamic players, I think there's an awareness on Trevor's part and an awareness on this coaching staff's part that he wants to make more dramatic plays. Yeah. He wants to be that guy, but he also can't compromise the team by going so far outside of structure where he puts them in harm's way.
Structure is such the word for me. Like, Trevor loves to be in structure. For a big athletic guy, he wants to play with 1, 2, 3, ready to throw. Where are my receivers? Are they supposed to be where they're supposed to be, rather than a little bit of a freestyle recess type of feel, which he athletically is capable of. When he's able to walk the line of playing on time and structure, then also creating when it's needed, that's when he's at his best.
But you see Mahomes doing the things he does, and Allen too. The temptation is, wait a minute,
I can do it.
I want to be that guy. I want to be that creative guy who wows people around the world.
There's no question, Chris. It's real. That's something that is real with him and with every other quarterback who goes up against these guys who are kind of one-of-one types, of the kinds of which we haven't seen come into the league very often. They get affected by that, and it's going to be imperative that the coaching staff keeps Trevor right in his lane where he needs to be.
Speaking of keeping it, he keeps the football and turns the corner for an easy first down.
When it's needed, right? When the opportunity presents itself. And Doug Peterson's very aware that he's able to kind of do that. This is a football team right now that sits 7 for 13 today on third down. They were bottom 3 in the league coming into today. So there are, to your point, Chris, like so many good building blocks. Certainly the decision-making for Trevor Lawrence and the way he's used his legs when asked. It's been a very big bright spot.
Yeah, he had been, as a passer, 54% completions on third down. That's low. And throwing a pick last week on a third down play against Houston. Much better in that department today.
And you can make the case that there's 14 points left on the field for them. Listen, Atlanta's defense is going to be very good. Atlanta's defense is not going to give up a ton of points to people this year. So this is a very good unit to have some success against and also be able to go, hey, there are 3 or 4 plays that if we hit those, that's when we become one of those high-end offenses that everyone has to contend with.
ETN again. Just hasn't found any room in the interior. Scrambles by Lawrence have been really their most effective running plays today.
Yep, they sure have. And you know what? And on the flip side, when it comes to Atlanta, just think about how close they were to hit a couple big plays of their own.
Yeah.
They had Mac Hollins on the big post route, the ball's underthrown. You have Drake London down here in the back of the end zone. He can't get 2 feet in because, as you said, maybe he didn't lead him to the sideline more instead of out of the back of the end zone. I mean, that's potentially 2 scores right there. So they're right there also. I mean, and that's the NFL. It's just, it's such a small margin of error, the difference between winning and losing.
You can look at almost every game every Sunday and say, if not this play or that play, but that's what the good teams do, is they find a way to make them. ETN falling forward, clock continues to wind down. They'll snap it next time just outside of the 2-minute warning.
The tough part for Atlanta right now is this. Last week they scored 6. Today they scored 7. Week 1 against Carolina, 2 of those scores are set up by Jesse Bates. So it's Arthur Smith's got a battle of, I got this defense that, in my opinion, gives us the chance to win the NFC South. How can they just get a little bit more consistent performance from their pass game to complement a Bijan Robinson player who's got 14 for 105 yards today?
If you told them at the start, hey, you're going to be 2-2 after 4, they might take that. They got 2 home games next, the Texans and the Commanders.
Winnable. Both winnable with how good their defense is playing.
But I'll tell you this, look out for those Texans now, because C.J. Stroud is starting to light it up. You've seen it. We've both seen it. And it is, wow. You know what? It's funny. I know exactly why you say winnable, Dan, but I'm telling you, what's so cool about this league is the fact that the Texans can rise up and they can do some damage. When the Commanders are hot, when Sam Howell's not turning over the football, they can get it going too, especially with the defense they have.
I think part of it, Lou, for me is I have such a high belief and respect for Atlanta's defense. You know, I think their defense gives them a chance to basically be in every single game.
And the Bills game with the Jags at Tottenham Stadium, where you enjoyed the soccer last night, will be another anticipated collision of high-profile quarterbacks. Bills, after that opening loss, have caught fire. A serious challenge for Jacksonville. Will be underdogs in that game. 2-minute warning in London. Jags trying to finish off the job. 6-yard line, 4 more minutes of clock, and now Brandon McManus on to try to make it 3 for 3 field goal kicking today. It's been a good special teams day for the Jags, and that's been important. That was a debacle a week ago. They gave up a 90-yard kickoff return to a 255-pound fullback. McManus missed 1 field goal and then had another one blocked by Will Anderson, so you know they'll be focused on the protection for him right here. It's a 38-yarder. Just to make it a 16-point lead, technically still a 2-score game, but it seems safe the way the Falcons have played offense. And McManus just knock it right through. Today's Total Replay brought to you by HubSpot Sales Hub. I got it. 2 picks.
Yeah, I tell you, this Jaguar secondary has been dialed in, sitting on all the short routes that we've talked about all day long, thrown by Desmond Ridder. There you saw Darius Williams. And here you're just going to see Andre Cisco just sitting in the middle of the field, basically playing 2 routes at once. He can just catch the football and then try and return it for a pick 6. Wasn't able to get it in. But look, it's been a good day for the Jaguars defense. They've bent a little bit. The secondary has played well. They have run to the football. They've laid some big hits.
Williams could have had a second pick. It was right off his hands.
Sure could have. And look, they played probably exactly like you would expect them to. Gave up some rush yardage. The Falcons are going to run the football well on everybody. But the secondary made the plays that they're supposed to make against a team that's struggling to throw the football the way Atlanta is.
And McManus boots it away. You saw that Lawrence, it's a satisfying thing. He wasn't around for the losses to Atlanta, but this has been a real problem. They haven't beat Falcons since 2007, coming in, lost 4 in a row. And this team is really expected to, with this guy at quarterback, sort of take charge of the AFC South, right, for the near future and wear that target and deal with those expectations, which I think they're still struggling to do.
The pressure of now we're expected to win, not just, I mean, 3 years ago, Trevor Lawrence was the #1 pick of the draft. This was a very bad football team. It's really only his second year in the NFL.
Yeah, and the first year did some serious damage.
Well, it's his 3rd year technically. This is the second year of, having that competency around him, and Doug Peterson, and coming in today, it's 1-2, and you lost at home versus Houston. It feels like a must-win, and now it's.
Look at that run though of teams.
That's a huge challenge coming up. So it was huge for them to get that win today with Trevor Lawrence leading the way.
Jonnu Smith's been a positive weapon here for Atlanta. He makes the catch to the 45 of Jacksonville.
Sure, he has a lot of familiarity with Arthur Smith. Both spent time in Tennessee together. That's where Jonnu really kind of burst onto the scene. But getting back to Jacksonville, I think, it's taking some.
Ball knocked out of the hands of Ritter. That was Josh Allen who got there, the strip sack for the best pass rusher on this field, and that's a punctuating play for this Jaguar defense.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's a nice pass rush, high side speed rush. You're going to see him just kind of get turned coming off the edge.
He's going to head down there and celebrate with some of these Jacksonville fans
yeah, why
in the
not?
end zone.
Why not? This team has struggled to rush the passer, has struggled to get consistent pressure on the passer and finish with sacks, all of it. That's a nice way for them to kind of maybe finish off this game. And don't just go for sacks, go for turnovers. Because that, in the end, is what makes the difference. That's how you finish.
That was pretty, man. He laid out, got his hand on the ball. A guy who's going to be free agent after this season. Didn't necessarily come off a monster. He would love to have a strong one going into contract negotiations. Kneel down time for the Jaguars. Pretty fitting that defense kind of ends the game in effect with the takeaway.
If they can get that unit going when it comes to the pass rush, Josh Allen and Walker, if that group gets going, the style of offense that Jacksonville plays, and they spit the ball out so quickly, and they've got the ability to make some plays in the air down the field, that's when they really become, I guess, contenders that we kind of expected them to going into this year.
That's the guy that you just mentioned, Trayvon Walker.
Right.
That's the next piece. If they can get him going, and he can become a bookend with Josh Allen. He is as physically gifted as any edge rusher in the NFL. Then it could make this team take a whole nother step. But he has to he has to assert himself in a way that is befitting of the first overall pick of the draft.
Yeah, you say he's a nice guy and unselfish, but sometimes you want the #1 pick to be a little bit selfish, right? To be more of a nasty alpha.
That's what they're looking for. For him to say, no, I'm going to close this out. No, I'm going to rush over there. I'll finish this. Hasn't developed that yet, but they're working on it.
The Jags will stay in London this week and get ready for the Bills at Tottenham Stadium. Feeling much better about things at 2-2. It's going to get much more difficult as we detail with that schedule ahead. But Lawrence in the pass game, they got some guys involved in the defense with 4 sacks and 3 takeaways and holding Atlanta under 300 total yards.
It's a good win for Jacksonville. Defense got some takeaways. The pass rush hunted. Trevor Lawrence valued the football, got it out of his hands to the proper people. Christian Kirk steps up, and there is still so much more left on the field for this offense, and they're capable of it.
They're the first team to play back-to-back games over in London. Interesting, they'll have to change hotels because the Bills have the place they were staying this week, so a change in scenery, but they won't have to adjust to the time shift, and interesting to see if they can play even better next week.
Yeah, they were very much so looking forward to getting back to work this week, and they wanted to get back to work with a win.
Let's hear from Trevor Lawrence with Laura.
All right, thanks, Chris. Trevor's still visiting with some of his friends down here. All right, I just watched a little meeting happen with the entire offense on the bench where you guys said that's more like it, that 10-play drive, that's what we want to see. Turn the page, but what progress did you make today?
What was the last part of that?
What progress did you make today?
Just found a way to win. You know, it still wasn't all that clean at times. But just we're a gritty group, found a way to win. That's what I told the guys at the beginning of that last drive is let's finish the game on our terms right now. Let's put a drive together, and feel good about it. And that's what we did. Obviously didn't score, but 4 minutes there to be able to go, 60, 70 yards and eat up that clock and get a field goal is big. So just ending the game how we wanted to, and I feel like we just found a way to win. That's what it's about in this league, and obviously our defense played great today, played really, really great, and that was big for us. So we still got things to clean up, but now it's about turning the page on to Buffalo.
What are the things that after today you focus on cleaning up here in London?
We'll have to watch the film. There's a lot of stuff that happened today. Atlanta did some really good things defensively, some scheme, some pressures that they had that were really good, and we need to communicate better. We got to be sharper in the passing game. We got to be better on third down still. That still wasn't great today. So those are the things that come to my mind immediately, but there's going to be stuff when we watch it that we're going to need to fix too.
What did you think when Calvin had the touchdown catch?
I was just excited for him. Obviously, this is his former team. We're out here in London. He was a captain this week. It's a big week, and he played great. And that was obviously a great play. It's funny is he kind of just ad-libbed, and he saw it open. The corner stayed low, so he just took it and kept rolling. It wasn't even the design of the play. So, great players make plays like that, and we were on the same page, and it's just fun to play with that guy.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit. You guys are going to change hotels because the Bills are taking your hotel. You're celebrating your birthday here this coming week. What are the plans other than football here in London?
Yeah, we'll get, a day or so to kind of explore this week. I've never had the time to do that because obviously it's a short trip typically for us. So it'll be fun to get out in the city and explore a little bit. Obviously, we're focused on Buffalo, but it will be fun to get out there. My family, my wife and my parents and my little sister are out here, my grandmother. So we got some people out here, so it'll be good to see them. And especially after a win today, it makes it a lot easier to go out there and explore and celebrate a little bit.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Chris.
Little family time, little exploring. Ridley's, both of his touchdowns are on kind of, as he said, ad-lib plays where somehow he's on the same page as the quarterback, but it was a good page to be on.
That's good to hear, quite honestly. Sure. I kind of like the fact that they read the coverage the same way. We've been talking about the fact that they just haven't quite connected, and maybe that's a launching point for them going forward, just like it was last year when we came over here.
We said so many times today, structure, on time, gather that rhythm. If that comes along and they play a little bit of that recess backyard football that we saw in that touchdown, again, that's another example of how kind of potent this offense has the chance to be.
We'll be watching them next week as they take on the Bills at Tottenham to see if they can build on this. 23-7 is our final. Thanks to our entire crew. Producer